Hi, I'm Jane Lamberti, Georgia's brain injury attorney. Brain injuries medically are characterized as mild, moderate, and severe. And medically, that's usually dependent upon how much time that you're unconscious or the degree to which you're paralyzed. But it's important to know that just because your brain injury is mild doesn't mean you may not have severe damages. You could be very severely damaged. So when we talk about the brain, remember, it's a very sensitive organ. It has over 600 miles of cells, quadrillions of connections, and even concussive forces from a rear-end collision can cause loss of memory, dizziness, and headaches, and that can be permanent. So I want to talk with you about mild traumatic brain injuries. And when I do, I'm going to use the mnemonic mild. M. One of the things to know is most of the brain injuries in our country are mild. I, with regard to images, you can have a mild traumatic brain injury and all your imaging studies be negative. That means MRIs, CT scans, those x-rays, those can all be negative, but you could still have a mild traumatic brain injury. L, loss of conscious. It used to be in order to suffer a brain injury, doctors would have to find that there was a loss of consciousness. But now that's no longer necessary for the diagnosis. You can have a mild traumatic brain injury without a loss of consciousness, and that's very important to remember. And finally, D is for damages. Damages in a mild traumatic brain injury can be severe. The brain has over 600 miles of neuron cells with a quadrillion connections, and even forces from a rear-end collision can interfere with those connections and cause permanent injury. 15% of people who have mild traumatic injuries have permanent injuries. Why? Primarily because they experienced some concussions or concussive forces when they were younger, and then this can add on top of it. And so it's really important that you get tested, specifically with neuropsychological testing to measure the severity and the permanence of your mild traumatic brain injury. Often you can get absent seizures, you can get memory loss, you can have difficulty speaking, difficulty remembering. All these things, although you can walk and talk and dress yourself, if you can't remember things and have difficulty with your short-term memory, it makes it very difficult for you to function effectively in your job and to function as an effective member of your family. So remember, just because you suffer a mild traumatic brain injury doesn't mean that your damages are mild. It's very important that you get the appropriate testing, especially neuropsychological testing, to determine if you've had a mild traumatic brain injury and whether it's permanent. I'm Jane Lamberti, Georgia's brain injury attorney, fighting for your peace of mind.